Now see? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's with landing flaps down. That is how you're supposed to land that plane. Yes! Thank you, Jesus. That's how you're supposed to do it. Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. All right. I've got a couple of videos of this out, of me flying this Kitfox, and I'm about 50-50 on good landings with this thing. And it's not the design of the plane. There's nothing wrong with the design of this plane. It's just you have to have a little bit of discipline with this type of bush plane to understand how high this thing sits up off the ground, okay, to where so nosing, if you hit the grass at the right angle, at the right speed, because it sits so high up off the ground and where its center of gravity is, it's going to be very easy for it to nose over. So you want to try to land this like a carrier, like a carrier hook, okay? Think of that tail as pulling you out of the sky, okay? Try a 3-point landing, basically is what you're looking for. Bring it in more like this and let that tail grab a hold of you and pull it out of the sky. And making sure that you make contact right before your stall. That's why you have to know where your stall is. At what speed does this plane start to drop and lose lift? And that's where your stall is. So right before stall, you want to be able to set her down. All right. I've also done something on the advice of one of my club members who used to actually fly one of these. And he says, work a little aileron and rudder mix. So I've got 25% of a rudder mix with my ailerons, but with opposite rudder, okay? So that when this aileron's up over here, this wing would start to drop to turn the plane that way, but the rudder counteracts that to make the turn more smooth, okay, and more stable. So 25, and then you already, and if you have a Spectrum, the vehicle for doing that's already there. There's already a rudder aileron mix ready. You just have to engage how much you want and what switch you want it on. I want 25%, and I put it on my C switch. I can turn it on or off. All right, this is going to be landing practice on the runway and in the grass. And my flap settings for this are just about perfect in my opinion. Use our takeoff flaps. Okay. Timer set for 6 minutes and my high rates. AS3X is engaged.
AS3X mode.
Actually, no, it wasn't. I had no gyro on. All right. Aileron turn now is much smoother. About half throttle there. Do another aileron turn off the road. Really don't have to hold any rudder in at all. It just turns ever so smooth. Thank you, Mr. Martin, for that advice. He also said that the plane would benefit from mechanical differential. And I'll be honest, I know it's simple, but that's something I don't normally do, so I don't have enough knowledge about doing it to where I feel comfortable showing you how to do it. All right, let's see if I can. Now well, I talked about that carrier is for the grass landing. Ah, didn't work that time. Let's try this again. Try to iron this out together. Oh, and I've also have moved the battery back to where about only a small amount of that 2200 it shows. I pushed it further back. We'll talk about that after the flight. All right, I swear I can land this plane.
Be careful.
It just sits very high up off the ground. So that center of gravity starts shifting forward very quickly. Take it out here of the grass.
flaps.
Rotate beautifully.
Flaps up.
I can really see that wingtip nav light now.
Landing flaps.
Still did it.
Prop secured. Safe.
So you know what? We're gonna land that way this time. You always have more control landing into the wind. Okay, I swear folks, I can land this plane. It's not the plane's fault.
Careful.
What?
When you're landing,
Uh-huh.
what I'm noticing is that the wing, the far wing is dipping down right before you touch down.
That's right. That's because I'm letting it hit too late. I'm letting it land too late. I'm getting into a stall too early. All right, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna turn around. And we're gonna take off into the wind. Okay. And I'm gonna show y'all what a difference that makes.
Takeoff flaps.
Takeoff flaps.
Time remaining.
What wind do we have?
Flaps up.
I've already called my shots here in pool.
Landing flaps.
So now see? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's with landing flaps down. That is how you're supposed to land that plane. Yes! You Jesus. That's how you're supposed to do it. And it was completely wrong what I told you. I said you had to do the carrier thing and no, land on the mains. Well, hey, I got her down.
Flaps.
All right. Let's try this again. I'm going to show you how to land this plane, by golly. No flaps this time. Into what wind I've got. Hey! Yeah! That's how you're supposed to do it. Yes! I know there's nothing wrong with that plane. It's not out of balance. It's perfect. I'm going to show you where I put the battery here in a second. I'm happy. I'm having fun now. Okay, got my takeoff flaps in. Into the wind.
Flaps up.
Flaps up. Let's do a touch and go this time.
Time remaining. Landing flaps. Flaps up.
No flaps. Be careful with touch and goes. You notice how she started to nose in a little bit. Gave it power, a little more elevator. But just small corrections, small corrections. All right, I was wrong. I admit it. You don't try to carry her 3-point land. Bring it in on its mains and let it roll. Just like that. Now, if the wind was down the runway and I was
Landing flaps.
better at my rudder game with crosswind landing, I might try the runway. All right, land with flaps that time. All right,
Flaps.
one more time.
Flaps up.
We're gonna go down here.
Landing flaps.
I'll land it right towards me. Gotta let it roll past me though.
Flaps up.
Yeah, as soon as those wheels are on the ground rolling, full up elevator.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
All right, let's show you some this plane's got.
Braking. Cruise mode.
All right,
Takeoff flaps.
take off flaps, and we're gonna take off in the span of the width of the runway.
Flaps up.
And half the width of the runway.
Landing flaps.
See, I can pull up elevator.
Flaps up. Takeoff flaps. Flaps up.
All right, let's attempt a crosswind landing. On the runway. Hey, we did it! All right, now let's take off from here.
Takeoff flaps. Flaps up. One minute.
But still, bouncing, but didn't roll, did not tip over. Let them mains hit and roll on the mains for a little while and let that bleed off the speed.
Prop secured.
And then pull full up elevator. So that whole tail hook thing I was telling you at the beginning, mains first, as we just showed. All right. I'm going to show you a few things. We had 49 seconds left on a 6-minute timer, but I think I've made my point. All right, let me go ahead and share the rates and everything with you real quick. All right, my flying rates that I just flew in: 100% throws, 30% expo on elevator and rudder, and on elevator and ailerons and elevator. On rudder is 125, but with I think I got 40% expo if I remember right. Yeah, 125 with 40% expo. All right, now let me just tell you my forward programming rates real quick. Pretty simple. I left them pretty much at stock. I think actually at stock. My gains that I were captured at 17, 22, and 26 on roll, pitch, and yaw. Priority all at 140, which is stock on roll, pitch, and yaw, and stop lock all at 35 on roll, pitch, and yaw, and I don't do anything else for the rest of it. Obviously don't use a nose wheel gyro. and one-time gains, just so you know. Now I'm going to show you this flat mix, okay, on the screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see it on the screen. Let me know when you're in the screen.
Here, bring it. Let me come in a little closer. Here we go.
Okay,
Yeah, we're good.
see the aileron rudder, okay? I've got it on switch C, okay? And I've got each of these sides here at negative 25% on C. I'm going to turn it off, okay? Now look, it's off now, and when I hit my ailerons, there's nothing happening, okay? Nothing happening. That's just me hitting the elevator by mistake. But when I turn it on, watch the rudder now. Just a little bit of opposite rudder. In other words, when this aileron comes up, which would turn the plane this way, that rudder counteracts to keep the plane more level. That way you'll have more of a linear turn when you use ailerons. So I like the way that works. All right, so that's that. And oh yeah, flap settings. These are my flaps. There's no mix needed. Flaps up, nothing. Takeoff is negative 50, no mix. Landing, negative 100, no mix. And I'm telling you, with the flapper-ons on this plane, they work perfect. They work really, really well on this one. All right, well, that's that. Let's talk about CG and where I've got the battery at now. I've got it different. And this is what's helping me a lot. A little bit more of an aft balance. Motor cut is on, so no prop working. CG by the book is 32 millimeters back from the leading edge root of the wing. But I think I'm a little more level now. Not quite, maybe not favoring, I was kind of favoring nose heavy before. Now I'm almost perfectly level, and this is great. This is helping with that landing. Look at where I've got, that's where I have the battery at now. That's a full length 2200. That's not a shorty. That's a full one. So before I had it almost touching the red motor mount. Now I've got it back almost 3/4 of an inch further back. Okay, let's check it, and I'm going to show you how far out I'm pulling that battery. And most of these type of 2200 brick style they're about the same dimensions. 25% left, so 6 minutes is perfect with 37, 37, 37 per cell. All right, now let me show you how far back. You see that turnigy? You can see maybe a quarter of it. Look how far how much I've got it back here. So you can see I got that much of that battery back in there to get that CG perfect. And there's actually room where I could even go further back if I wanted to. I can go all the way back there if I wanted to. And now, but look how makes it slightly tail heavy. So I could even, but I can't get hold of Velcro. So right there to where basically where that battery is even with that magnet right there. You put that battery kind of even with that magnet, or maybe right in front of it. See where I've got it? That's about perfect there. About even with that magnet. That'd be my best advice to get the best results. And then just tuck that ESC or the ESC battery lead in there. And there you go. And that's the Kitfox. Hobby King, I want to thank you. And together we have figured out how to land this thing. Put that battery 3/4 of the way back. Make a perfectly level CG. Land on the mains, let her roll, full up elevator, and drop the tail. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but easier said than done. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all. Camera Precious, thank you for filming for me. Jesus is Lord, God is good, and thank y'all so much. And we're going to do a camera roll next. See you later.